Long Story Short is the latest work from Raphael Bob Waksberg, the creator of Bojack Horseman, a show that made us cry over a life of a talking horse and all the shit he did and didn't do. But this time, Raphael is doing something much different while still retaining the ability to mess up our emotional stability. Now, instead of satirizing Hollywood or life of existential animals and all the other topics we wrote about before, now with the long story short, the creator is tackling something far more personal, intimate, family. And what makes it truly fascinating is how the show presents a family life. Not in a simple straight line, but out of order through fragments and memories. Through moments scattered across decades, fights, jokes, weddings, holidays, all out of order and all very, very important. As you watch, you're not just seeing what happens to a family, you're slowly assembling a bigger picture about them. Piece by piece, memory by memory, until you understand how they love each other, how they think of each other, and how they hurt each other. Bob Waksberg, I hope I'm saying his name right, I'm sorry if I don't, has always had the ability to turn animation into therapy, or something that makes us look for therapy instead, but at the very least, it always makes us look deeper into ourselves. His shows take heavy emotions such as despair, self-doubt, identity, and present them to us through humor and absurdity. But long story short, takes that emotional depth and grounds it in something universal. This time, the chaos isn't about fame or failure, it's about being somebody's child, somebody's parent, someone's sibling. It's about how the people who know you the best can still misunderstand you completely. Family isn't a story told in order, it's a collage of good memory, bad habits, half-hearted apologies, real apologies, misunderstandings, and so much more. And just like in real life, you don't get a full picture until it's almost over. Or you never get a full picture at all, because family doesn't really have a beginning and the end. At the center of this show are the Schwoopers. There's Avi, Shira, Yoshi, Naomi, and Elliot. They argue, they forgive each other, they drift apart, they come back together, just like any real family would. Avi is the oldest child, he's a divorced dad, trying really hard to connect with his daughter. Shira is a mother, a wife, middle child. She is handling so many things at once, from her queer identity, culture, her mother expectations, her own expectations of herself, and she is trying her best to live up to the expectations. Yoshi is the youngest. He is pretty smart, but as many are, he is lost. He has a lot of trouble that can be attributed to his AD&D. Thanks to that, he had a hard time finding something that resonated with him. But eventually, he did find solace in the fate. He found an organization, a system that fits him, and he found that in fate. So, every episode jumps between their past and present, showing us how a small moment, a fight, a forgotten promise, even a glance, can have rippling effects years later. That non-linear structure doesn't just make for clever storytelling, it becomes a metaphor for how memory works. We don't live our lives in order, we remember it in flashes, and that's exactly how the show asks us to understand its characters. Long Story Short's innovative approach lets it explore everything that defines a family: religion, marriage, identity, expectations. It asks us, how do you balance who you are with who your family expects you to be? And that's where the show really resonated with me. I especially love how it presents religion, specifically religion in family. That really resonated with me. I'm not Jewish, but I am a Catholic, and I have seen my own family in the story quite a bit. We are all Catholic, but that's just something you are. It's not something you really practice all that much, even though you do go to church, you do practice all the holidays, and you think of yourself as Catholic, but that's about it. You don't ever really go deeply into that side of the religion. It's more like a means of uniting a family than anything else, and I really resonated with the way Naomi looked at religion as something to keep her family together. And I found that to reflect quite well, quite truly in my own life as well. Religion is something that we as a family come together around, and not something that we strictly adhere to every single rule. Still religious, we still respect it, but the most important part of it is that it keeps our family together. This really hit home for me. And visually, the show is beautiful. It's stylized, a little rough around the edges, which is the point, and that imperfection gives it heart. Some people might prefer a clean, simple look of other animated shows, but I love this hand-drawn warmth. It feels more human. You can tell it wasn't a copy-paste from other shows, but it still had the look that you can recognize from Bojack Horseman, Tuca and Bertie, and the previous shows. You can see it comes from that DNA. What I like a lot about Long Story Short is how it understands time. You see how people change, how they forget some things, how they carry small wounds for decades without even realizing it, and let those small wounds turn into something bigger. The show doesn't tell you what to feel, it lets you discover it slowly, the same way you realize things about your own family over time. That's the genius of it. It's not about what happens next, it's about how everything that already happened led to something that happened. The critics have praised the show for that honesty, and it generally got good reception, but despite the acclaim, it hasn't exploded the way Bojack Horseman did. Hopefully, this is more like the case of season 1 than anything, and the more seasons we get, the better the show will be in the eyes of the general public. And if it doesn't, I am a little bit worried. I hope the Netflix does not cancel it. They have a really bad track record with it, and I don't like starting any Netflix shows nowadays. You have to start with the expectation that this is the only season you are going to get, but there's still so much to explore. I just hope the Netflix doesn't fuck us over, okay? And even if that happens, I'm still glad the show existed. The story, if it ends here, I would be disappointed, but I would still be happy that we got what we did. All in all, if you've seen The Long Story Short, I'd love to hear what you think about it, which part hits closest to home for you, and if you hadn't, give it a shot. It's really nice, and we need all the views we can get to get more seasons. Okay, bye.